What's happening, legends? Welcome back to another video. So over the next day or two, I'm going to be heading to some really remote locations deep in the wilderness of Australia, catching some huge mud crabs with my bare hands, cooking them up over the fire, going for a solo snorkel mission after dark, and attempting to find some river monsters as well. But first, we needed to catch some lunch, so I started my mission where I've caught food that many times before.
Yes! There we go. That right there is a massive Australian mud crab. Yep. There we go.
The mangroves.
We are literally the only people out in these mangroves at the moment. It's actually so good. I got this whole place to myself. I don't even know what's going to happen yet in this video, but I can tell that it's going to be a wild one. So it is already getting so hot at the moment. That sun's blaring down. So what I'm going to do, get out of the sun, get deep into those mangroves and catch a mud crab. I came out here the other night and saw heaps of big ones swimming around. So we'll try and get one. Oh, how lovely. So at the moment, I'm just drifting down here looking for a good spot in the mangroves that I can not only park up my kayak, but actually start walking through there to try find these mud crabs. And anything like a fish or anything that I see on the way down, I've got the bow in the back as well. So we can possibly try and get something with that as well to cook up later. But I'm just having so much fun right now. It's good to be back out here in nature, not worrying about anything else. Let's catch some mud crabs, shall we? Leopard ray. That's awesome. There's another stingray right there. Sorry buddy, I woke you up. Alright, this looks like a good place to start the trek. A wild bin chicken out in the mangroves over there. It is a mission and a half going through stuff like this. Go this way. All right, so while I'm trekking through these mangroves, oh, there's mozzies everywhere. These mud crabs would have to be one of my favorite animals to catch out here. Not only because they are such an awesome creature, they've got those massive claws, such a cool appearance, but there's a danger aspect behind it as well. If you get your hand stuck in one of these mud crab claws, you are not getting it back and you could be even losing digits. All right, oh, this is actually so hard going walking through here, but this is what you have to do if you want to catch those big muddies. Oh, it's worth it if you get one in the end though. Literally, look at where I am right now, in the middle of absolute nowhere. Which way? Oh. That could be a mud crab. See this right down here? It looks like something's been digging there. Let me turn this camera around. See these marks? Just down around there like that? I think that could be a little mud crab. It doesn't look too big. These are things that you start to pick up on after doing years of crabbing out in the mangroves. See, look at all of this area around it. Flat, flat, flat. And then you come over here and it's a bit stirred up. I think that is a little mud crab. So, judging by this imprint down here, he doesn't even look like he's close to legal. Wonder which way his claws are facing. Oh, it's definitely a mud crab. Now I can see kind of the outline of his body, and I don't think it's a legal crab, but it's still cool to get him up close to the camera. Ready? Look at that right there. That actually could be a legal one. Oh my goodness, that's a legal mud crab. What? Take a look at that big fella, and it's a male as well. Look at that. Oh my goodness, so he was just sitting down there like that. Whoa, look at him. Aggressive little fella. He's like, you get any closer, I'm gonna get you, mate. And would you take a look At that right there, baby, a big Australian mud crab out here in the mangroves. We managed to catch him with my bare hands once again. Oh, it's so good. You don't understand how stoked I am every time I get to come out here. Just walking through here alone is so cool. I'm out here by myself in the wild, trying to catch my own food. It's just really bringing it back to basics. So what I'm gonna do now, I am that dehydrated. I've been walking through here for ages. It's about a half an hour walk to this spot from where I parked my kayak. So I'm gonna go back there, and if my kayak hasn't floated away, chuck this little fella in it. Now, one mud crab, that's definitely enough for me, but I wanna feed the whole family as well. So what I'm gonna do, keep walking around and see how many more we can find. So you can tell if these mud crabs are full or not by just squeezing down on this shell here, and if it doesn't move at all, then you know it's a full crab. And this one has no budge whatsoever, and that is absolutely awesome. I actually have no way of carrying this camera right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly run through the mangroves back to my kayak. If I'm quick, it should only take about 10 minutes or so. Come back here, grab my camera, and then go from there. But yeah, let's get going. The day's still young, and there's still more mud crabs out there to catch. So, just gotta be careful that I don't fall over with this mud crab in my hand. Let's go, baby. It's so good. All right, we nearly made it back. There she is, the kayak. All right, so this mud crab, he's happy in there at the moment. Gonna lock him up. All right, so I got my camera, we got back to the kayak. What I'm gonna do now is go for a walk all the way up this way and see what I can find in those mangroves up there. Hopefully some more mud crabs, maybe some shovel-nose sharks in the pools further up. And yeah, I don't know, just see what happens. So I was just walking through the shallow pool, seeing if I could see anything sitting in the shallows, and I'm pretty sure I've just spotted another legal mud crab sitting right behind me right here. See all this like dust and like silt off the floor that it's been stirring up? Out in the mangroves by myself, don't have anyone else to help me film this or whatever. There's a big mud crab sitting right here, and we're gonna grab it and see if it's legal. Fingers crossed. We've already got one in my kayak over there as well. All right, I think I got him. Yes! Take a look at that. Oh, he's aggressive. And we got another big mud crab out here in the mangroves. Oh my goodness. Take a look at that big fella. I'm absolutely covered in mud right now, but I do not care. I do not care at all. Take a look at that. Second mud crab of the day. There's people watching me from the other side of the bank. I don't even care. Just covered in mud, doing my own thing. Oh, that is so good. 2 legal mud crabs. Yes, that is absolutely awesome. Literally look at this mud that I'm in right now. Right, that is absolutely crazy. I could not feel him at all under there, but I saw him go in from over the mangroves over behind me. Started filming straight away, and we managed to get him. All right, 2 legal mud crabs from 2 attempts. They're literally the only muddies that I've found today. What did I do to deserve this? That's actually so good. All right, let's keep going. I think I might have to jump in and wash myself off. 2 muddies of this size, which I have caught today, would probably cost upwards of about 200 bucks in the shops at the moment. I'm absolutely stuffed. I need to keep going. Such a workout, walking through the mud. And there is mud crab number 1, sitting there. And I think this one is the biggest one so far. Take a look at the size of that big fella right there. That is just so awesome. I'm literally shaking right now. We finally got everything set up, got back to the kayak, got my camera, and take a look at what we got right here, baby. 2 massive Australian mud crabs. That is so good. Out here in the mangroves, and now we can relax for the rest of the day. No more walking through here. I'm literally waist deep in mud at the moment, but that is the reason why we do it, and that is the reason why we do it. The tide's pushed way out at the moment, so it's gonna be a bit of a mission to get my kayak back out across these mud flats into some deeper water where we can go home, and I don't know what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day. What I'm thinking of doing is, judging by the sun, it looks like it's about 4 o'clock at the moment. So I'm gonna get out of here, go home, cook up these mud crabs, but I am absolutely stoked with these two big muddies right here. Let's chuck these mud crabs in the front of the kayak and get into it. Oh, if I could get out of this mud. Look at that. Oh, lovely. So we just made it down to this creek, so what I'm gonna do now, got all the stuff down there, we're gonna make a fire. I've also got a little gas cooker. We're gonna cook up both these muddies, eat them down here on the riverbank, and then see what happens for the rest of the day. Now there are a couple different ways that you can actually cook these mud crabs. I've seen some people cook them whole inside the coals. So what I thought I'd do is I'd pull one apart and cook it in a pot itself, how you normally cook it. And then I'll actually chuck one in the coals of the fire, cook them up, taste the difference and see how they taste. Alright, so I'll just wash these crabs off real quick. These crabs are actually now dead. I just killed them in the most painless way possible. But look at that, as if that's a crab. These things are actually massive. Literally, look at that. That is crazy. Landmines of the mangroves right there. So, just gonna wash it off. All in here is just a bunch of meat, and in the shell as well. So I think I might break this one up and chuck it in the pot, because I don't think the pot's big enough. Then we'll cook this big fella whole in there. Just dig this fire pit out. I'm not using any creek rocks this time. Whoa. Unlucky, G. So these creek rocks actually hold water inside them, and when they're heated up and when they're put on a fire, they expand and like bits of them will explode off. So just chuck all these little sticks on here. Just grab a bit of creek water for that one. There we go. Perfect, ready to chuck in there when it's boiled. What a setup we got going here. We got this mud crab, ready to be chucked in that pot. While this is dying down, this guy's just waiting right there, next to an awesome creek system. Can't get much better than that. I'm actually that keen to eat this mud crab, hey. I haven't eaten anything all day, and to go out and catch my own food, I've said it before, but it's absolutely the coolest thing. You guys should go out and try it sometime. Even if it's in a freshwater creek or something like that, just go out with limited resources, maybe a fishing rod or a spear or something, catch your own food, go to a beautiful place like this and cook it up. But what I'm thinking about right now is what I'm gonna do next in this video. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna go way out into the bush, deep into the middle of nowhere where not many people actually go. Set up a game camera trap overnight and see what species of animals we can actually catch on that camera. Then I might even go for a bit of a snorkel late in the afternoon or at night out at this really ancient creek system where I've filmed some massive lungfish before, Mary River cod, heaps of other stuff like that. It is that cold here in Australia though, so I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening, but I'm just keen to have a bit of fun, man. It's good to get back out here and get back into it. I reckon this mud crab's ready to chuck in there though, so let's go put it on the fire and cook it up, baby. Let's go. We'll chuck them in. There's one, two, and then the last big claw. Chuck that in. There we go, that's mostly under. There we go. Take a look at that big fella on the fire. All right, we'll bury him up in the coals. See all those nerves? Him moving in there? That's crazy. All right, I think this one's about ready. I'm gonna leave this one cook for a bit longer. So I'll take this pot off, tip it out, and leave it in the water for a couple minutes just to cool that crab down. We're gonna go straight down to the water with you. Chuck you in there for a bit. Don't run away. And there we go. That's what you get after a big mud crab hunt. All right, let's crack this claw open and eat it. Chuck some lemon on it. Mud crab would have to be one of my favorite things that I can go out by myself, catch and cook up. Here we go. Gets better every time I eat it, I swear. You can definitely see how hard it is though, walking through these mangroves. Like sometimes I go out there to try catch mud crabs, walk through there all day, get eaten by mozzies and don't end up catching anything. So it's so good and rewarding when you end up getting something like this. Now I know this isn't a mukbang channel, so I'm not gonna show you me eating this whole crab, but what I'm gonna do, finish this thing off, get in my car, get back out of here, go and get that night vision camera, get it all ready, set it up somewhere out in the bush, see what happens after that. But take a look at that right there, and this absolute monster that I'm gonna eat in a second. Let's go, baby. That is so good. We just got out here at the moment. It is absolutely freezing. There's no one else out here. And this pool behind me right here, because it's so cold this time of year, this pool is so clear. So this is the same pool where we saw all those lungfish, all those big Mary River cod in a couple of weeks ago. So I'm gonna get in there behind me, get the mask and snorkel in there, see what we can find. We don't have any time limits tonight, so we're just gonna stay out here, chill, then go back home later on and set up this camera trap. But yeah, so we get into it. Let's see what we can find, shall we? Right, so we just came up from snorkeling. I just caught this little turtle here on the way in. He actually had some fishing line wrapped around his leg and was struggling to swim. So I picked him up and I'm pretty sure, I'm just checking in the light at the moment, that I got it all off. All right, I think he's all good. Take a look at that little fella right there. We'll just let him go. Off he swims that way. That is so good. So I just got out at the moment. That was probably the craziest night snorkeling session that I've ever had, especially in a river like this. So many lungfish. I probably saw 10 or 12 different lungfish in the half an hour that I was swimming around here. My GoPro has just run out of battery, so that's gonna be it for the night. But what I'm gonna do now is actually go set up my camera, the night camera trap, over in the bush somewhere, come back and check it tomorrow and see what we have. But that was just so awesome. We saw some massive Mary River cod, heaps of turtles, other stuff. The only thing that I was disappointed about, just over in this little stream behind me right here, I actually saw heaps and heaps of tilapia. Now what tilapia are is they're an introduced pest here in Australia, and they compete with all the native fish in these areas. And last time I came snorkeling here, there was none of them here, so it shows that these guys can spread like wildfire. You're not allowed to go spear fishing or bow fishing in fresh water, so in a river like this, fishing is the best method to get rid of these guys, but it's very hard because you're gonna chuck a line in and 9 times out of 10 you'll catch something that isn't a tilapia. Yeah, a bit disappointed to see them in there. I say what we do now, go set up the camera trap and see what we can find. All right, we got it set up right here. I saw a lot of wild dog tracks and other deer tracks just in here. So hopefully we get a couple walking across here overnight. I'll come back and check it in the morning.
All right, let's get out of here. I'll see you then. So we only got one video on the camera last night, but I am stoked with that. Let's watch that again. Look at that, just a little fox walking right in front of the camera. That's crazy to think that these guys are out here. I barely see them. It'd be cool to come out here and actually try catch one of these foxes. But yeah, what a cool adventure that was so far. Not only going and catching those mud crabs, catching my own food and cooking it up down at that creek system, then coming out here later on that night, snorkeling in here with such rare prehistoric looking animals, chilling with all those turtles. Everything that we saw in that creek system was so cool. As soon as I went below the surface, you just lose track of everything and you're just focused on what's in front of you. Setting up this game camera, catching that fox on it, I just think these things are absolutely so cool because it's a way that you can get up close to these animals without them actually knowing about it. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. You are all absolute legends. I can't thank you enough for all the support you always give me. Leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you want to support me. Go follow me on Instagram. My username's just Miller Wilson. If you want to see more adventures like this, I've got a heap more planned. I'm going to get back into the swing of things. Thank you guys so much. You're absolutely amazing, and I'll see you next Saturday in the next adventure.